Okay, the meeting of the Shreveport City Council is now called to order. The chair will give the invocation and the Pledge of Allegiance. Let us pray. Oh, gracious God, thank you for this day. We thank you, eternal God, for all the blessings and the mercy and the grace that you give us each day. We pray, oh Lord, for each member here and for their families and their loved ones. We pray for the city. We pray, oh God, that you help us in great times of need. Father, we have so many. We pray for the citizens. We pray for God that you would just bless this city and continue to watch over us and help us, oh eternal God. Forgive us again as I ask that we serve you and lift your name up. And Lord, where there might be darkness, that we would let the light shine. Your name will be uplifted, and we praise in your holy name. Amen. Okay, join with me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic
for which it
stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you all. Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Councilwoman Taylor.
Present.
Councilwoman Fuller.
Here.
Councilman Nicholson.
Present.
Councilman Butcher.
Here.
Councilman Flory.
Here.
Councilman Green.
I'm here.
And Councilman Bowman.
Madam Clerk, may you explain at this time what items can be considered at this meeting?
Yes, Chairman, since we are conducting this meeting via video and teleconference today, we are limited in the items that can be considered by Open Meetings Law, Louisiana Revised Statute 417.1. Some items will require a 2/3 vote to consider, and other items, if they do not fall under the criteria of that state statute, will have to be postponed until such time as they meet the criteria or we're back in person.
Okay, thank you. May I ask at this time, council members, is there a motion to postpone the minutes?
Mr. Chair.
A motion by
Second.
Councilman Green, second by Councilwoman Fuller. Did I hear that right? Or
Taylor.
Taylor, okay. Madam Clerk, please call the vote.
Councilwoman Taylor.
Aye.
Councilwoman Fuller.
Aye.
Councilman Nicholson.
Aye.
Councilman Butcher. Councilman Butcher. You're on mute.
Aye.
Councilman Flory.
Aye.
Councilman Green.
Aye.
And Councilman Bowman.
Okay, that passes. Now, does any council member have any awards, recognition, or distinguished guests at this time?
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
I'd like to send condolences out to the Madison family on the passing of Bobby Madison. I'd like to send heartfelt condolences to Judy Madison and her family. Also, continuous prayers for Representative Sam Jenkins on the loss of his wife, and also like to keep the She Rides Motorcycle Club and members there who lost their lives. I think it's a balloon release for the young ladies on tomorrow at 6 p.m., as well as keep the young lady in Vivian, I believe they work for the Vivian Police Department, in our prayers as well.
Okay, thank you very much. Anyone else?
Yes, sir. Councilwoman, there was a member that works for the city. His son also was gunned down over the weekend. I just want to extend our condolences to him and his family, and we'll be reaching out for more information as far as the arrangements there. Thank you.
Hey, thank you, Councilman Bowman. All right, anybody else? Mayor Perkins, do you have any awards, recognitions, and distinguished guests?
I have some comments, Mr. Chairman.
Sure.
Starting off on a sad note, the former Sportran president and CEO, Gene Eddy, passed away on Saturday evening. He served as the public transportation ambassador for Shreveport Bossier for over 40 years. He will be greatly missed, and we ask that you all pray for him and his family. On last week, I joined hospital leadership for a press conference to talk about the increasing numbers of COVID cases and our overburdened hospital systems. They are finding that the majority of those hospitalizations are the unvaccinated members of our community. We're trying to lead by example here at the city of Shreveport. I've urged our city employees to become vaccinated themselves. We've seen a surge in city employees getting vaccinated, so that's a good sign. And on Saturday, we offered a $100 incentive to citizens at 2 locations at A.B. Palmer and at David Raines as well, and we had a really good turnout for that. So we encourage citizens to continue to get vaccinated, and to each and every one of you, we ask that you all get vaccinated. I'm sure you are, but also encourage those around you to get vaccinated as well. Next, our Savor Shreveport public awareness campaign is still underway. And this week we updated the public on the environmental court and the impact we expect it to have on blight in our city. Eradicating blight helps us to confront crime and improve the quality of life for all residents of Shreveport. And lastly, I'll say a new school year is about to begin in our city. And once again, Dollar Mania and Furniture Express partnered with the city of Shreveport to provide school uniforms. They provided 2 uniforms to 250 students in the Caddo Parish school system, and we're grateful to them for that. And I just like to echo the sentiments that were expressed to the other losses in the community by Councilwoman Taylor as well. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you, Mayor. Anyone have anything to add? We'll move on to reports. Does any of the council have any concerns, questions for property standards?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes,
Mr. Green, is he on?
that's Mr. Terrence Green, isn't it?
Yeah, Mr. Terrence Green, not the one at the beach.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Green, we spoke about the Family Dollars and some other stores around town that are not very well kept. And I think you and Mr. Clark were going to be working on that. I'm still getting emails about it, especially the one at Uri and Stratmore. And I got some pictures. I forwarded them to you and to Mr. Clark probably about 20 minutes before the meeting started.
Right.
It looks horrible. Is there anything we can do as a city? It seems like in every district there's a Family Dollar that's poorly taken care of. The shrubs are all dead. Grass is high. Is there anything we can do collectively to get this under control?
We can visit the site, and I guess what we'll try to do is just talk, instead of the manager, try to deal with the regional personnel that they have. And when I did discuss this with Mr. Jordan, he said that zoning does have something going on where they're going to be dealing with the shrubs and the premises of the Family Dollars, well, dollar stores in general around the city.
I think that Family Dollar has to be the worst that I've seen. And I go to other areas, around other cities in the area, and theirs don't seem to be as in bad a shape as ours.
Right.
I just am getting several complaints, especially about the Uri and Stratmore one. If y'all could really pay some attention to that one, I would appreciate it.
Okay.
Mr. Chair,
Go ahead.
if I could just respond to Councilman Butcher, please.
Sure, Alan. Go ahead.
We worked with that Family Dollar out on Stratmore and Uri for quite some time. And under previous city council persons, we were able to clean it up. And I've asked the zoning enforcement division to use some of the tactics that we employed at that time. We did reach out to owners, and we reached out to regional directors and so forth. Many times you get very little, especially at dollar stores, you get very little response at all from on-site managers. But when we start reaching out to regional offices and corporate offices, we've been relatively successful in the past. We've jumped on that immediately and trying to contact them again.
Well, I appreciate that.
Thank you.
I recall back when my Councilman Corbin was on, I think that was one of his pet peeves, really. And I remember hearing that y'all really got that cleaned up there. it just really looks bad. You'll see it in the photos that I sent you just a minute ago. And it's not just isolated to this one. It's all over. I think it's in every district. So, and it's just funny to me that in other cities and towns, they're a little bit cleaner. So I don't know if it's under different regional managers or what, but anything we can do to get them cleaned up, I would really appreciate it, because they're packed all the time. So they got to be making money. They ought to be able to cut the grass and get their dumpsters empty.
We're committed, Councilman Butcher, to doing that and not taking a whole lot of time and getting it done.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Clark. Thank you, Mr. Green.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
I just
Thank
had
you.
the same, while they're talking, I just had the same concern about the Pines Road. We went by Sunday for the ones at Pines Road and Jefferson Page. Also had a few to have it on the neighborhood discussion on Facebook also. So yeah, that just make sure we add that one to the list too.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
How about anything else with proper standard? If not, unless anybody have any questions for finance, revenue collection? How about the city attorney? He I'm sure is raking it in on the surety bond for. Any questions?
No comment, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. All right. Public hearing none. Madam Clerk, is there any legislation to be added today?
There's none that I'm aware of.
Okay. Danielle, we're no public comments, right?
We do have some public comments.
Okay. Will you handle those for me?
The first one you have
Councilman Bowman
is
has them.
the first one you have is Ken Kraft.
Are we?
I don't know if he's is he in the chat room or are we doing that? No.
Oh,
Okay.
we have a lot of people in the in the chat or in the waiting room right now, but I do
Okay.
Ken Kraft, and I have notified everyone in the waiting room multiple times now to please change your name.
Okay.
Or else we're not going to be able to admit you in. I'm seeing Galaxy, iPhone, iPad. He could be any one of those. So.
Okay. The subject matter is on here. If they do come up shortly, I can go ahead and read what they have here. And if they pop up, then we can go from there. That's fine. Ken Kraft wanted to speak on to support the purchase of items cited in Ordinance 116 and 117. These are badly needed for SPD and SFD. And he hopes that we unanimously approve on the second reading on 8/24/21. Thank you, Ken Kraft. Next we have is Kimberly Jones.
No, I don't see any Kimberly Jones.
Okay.
Mm-mm. I mean, they're probably the iPads or phone numbers.
Okay.
So.
Okay. She's asking to speak about City Council members, Councilwoman Lavette Fuller for District B, John Nicholson for District C, and Grayson Butcher for District D, and James Green for District F are invited to an accountability day on Saturday, October 2nd, 2021 at 5:30, the Neighborhood Association meeting. That's the Cedar Grove Affirms Real Effort. Kimberly Jones. There is a Irma Rogers. Is she in? Nope. Okay.
I'm sorry.
Resolution 99. And that was, she should be there wanting to speak, but she didn't say what it exactly what she had, but it was on that topic of 99. Well, there it is. It comes on the second part. She wanted support for the resolution requesting the Department of Natural Resources and the Office of Conservation to schedule a meeting with the city of Shreveport residents in the MLK neighborhood. And that's also Lola Lawson. Want to speak on the same. Is Sherry Bonnet?
Lola Lawson, she's a part of the meeting.
She is?
Yes, I just let her in.
Okay. She's welcome to speak. Lola Lawson? Miss Lola?
It's showing she's still connecting.
Okay.
Because she's muted now. She should be able to unmute her mic and speak.
Miss Lola Lawson, are you there with me?
Lola's here.
Okay. Can you state your name and you have 3 minutes to speak, ma'am?
Okay, my name is Lola Lawson. Going to state my address.
No, ma'am, I have it here.
Okay, I'm asking you guys to join with Ms. Tabitha Taylor to vote for the resolution that she has submitted for the MLK area. And the reason why I'm asking is because the oil and gas company seems to be allowed to do whatever they want in our area. They treating our citizens, the citizens of the MLK, any kind of way. They are allowed to drill so closely to a populated area. They have stacked all the decks against us by going to the larger landowners and then came to the smaller landowners after they done got all the land that they need to take to the commissioners in Baton Rouge to get permission to drill. And then I want you all to think about how we are forced to allow them to drill up under our land and to accept pennies because they're trying to force pool. They filed a petition to force pool us to take whatever they are offering. So I'm asking you all today if y'all would join with her to vote for the resolution 99. I really wish you all would do so.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Lawson. The June Melendez. She's not. June Melendez.
I don't see that name.
Okay. She wants to speak about concerns about the bond and how the money would be distributed amongst the neighborhoods and the districts. Next, there is a Mary Mims.
You see Kimberly Jones in here as well, just FYI. Now that
Okay.
she's in.
If she's ready, we can go back to Kimberly Jones and look for Mary Mims.
Minute her, Kimberly Jones.
Okay.
It'll take her a second to join and then another second to connect to audio.
Okay. And Kimberly Jones is the one that wants to speak about the care meeting for the neighborhood association meeting over in Cedar Grove.
She should be able to unmute now.
Okay. Ms. Jones, are you with us?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Can
would
you see
state-
me?
I got you. Yes. Can you state your name for the record, please? And you have 3 minutes.
Okay, my name is Kimberly Jones, 252 East 71st Street in Shreveport, Louisiana, with the CARES, which is Cedar Grove Affirms Real Efforts Neighborhood Association. And I have invited the 4 council members that represent the Cedar Grove area to a accountability day on October the 2nd, Saturday, October the 2nd at 5:30 at the building or the surroundings. And we will be following this up with a letter. So please save the date because we're also asking the media to attend. And we need the citizens and the voters and its constituents and the community to know who you are. We have questions to ask you all. We need you to walk around, show your face, determine what part of Cedar Grove you represent. And it's not just you. We are also inviting our commissioner, our school board rep, the sheriff department, anybody that we go to the polls and elect. That's who we're asking to come. And we're saying this accountability because if we put you in office, we're holding you all accountable.
Okay. Ms. Jones, you got the address of where where your meeting is going to be?
7931 Thornhill, near the A.B. Palmer Community Spa, in the rear of it.
Okay.
That's our building.
Okay, 7931.
We'll information up with a letter.
Okay.
We'll be
Okay.
following requests up with a letter.
Okay.
We
Got
just
it.
want to make sure you all save the date.
Okay. I read it all at first when I didn't know for sure we'll get you in, but I think everyone has it now. So your follow-up will be great.
Okay, thank you so much. And we appreciate this. We thought that we would have the opportunity to come actually there because we're sitting outside and we would like to watch it from the monitor outside. We're actually at the government building.
Right. Well, no, I don't think I think it's only two of us that are. We're not there either. So
Okay, so we can't watch anything on the monitor outside, in the government building in the overflow seating area?
it's not on because
Yeah,
we're not there.
we haven't set that up yet, but I appreciate that and certainly work
So
on
for
that.
future, would y'all set that up if you're gonna do Zoom? Because we had several people come through that it was on Zoom and they left, but I'm pretty sure they would have stayed and sat here with us and watched you all on the monitor.
Okay.
Definitely look into getting that done for the next meeting.
For the next meeting. Okay.
Okay, and then I have some fellow constituents. I have 3 other people that have submitted requests to speak and they can't get on. So when you ask for them, I'm just pass my phone over to them. Because we've been sitting up here for the longest trying to get on.
Okay. Is one up? All right.
Because one of them is Miss June Melendez.
Okay. That was the next one I called up.
Okay, all right. So I'm gonna just pass my phone to her.
We'll do this low tech.
We'll do that.
Yeah, that's how we having to do it today. That's how we
Okay.
do it.
Miss
Yes,
Jones, nice to see you. Would you just state your name for the record, please? And you have 3 minutes, ma'am.
Yes, this is June Melendez, 804 Regmore Drive, Shreveport, Louisiana, 71107. And yes, I prepared something to make sure I was addressing the panel correctly. Our honorable council member, to thank you all for representing us, and that we need to see more of you. And what I wanted to bring up was the first portion was on August the 4th. On August the 4th, we prevailed, the City Grove Committee. We came in and we stated our business, basically, that we did not want another liquor store in our neighborhood. And so what we found, what I found and Ms. Jones found, after we was able to get the information, because it was denied that they could not open their liquor store. What we did find out was that the documents that they submitted for supporters, a lot of the people that signed the statements saying that they were in agreement, at least 5 or 6 of those people did not even, well, those addresses were not even in the state of Louisiana. And there was a lot of things. Matter of fact, the paperwork or documents, I wish I could really see you so I can, I had plans of showing you all the paperwork to let you see that they were using 2 different forms of papers to saying as far as getting residents to sign the papers. But to put it in a nutshell, we feel in Cedar Grove, the Cedar Grove community, that before anyone is able to build in our area, they should have to come through our community first to introduce themselves, to let us know what they're doing. And I think that's only fair, because when you're at home, can't someone just invite themselves to your house without you knowing about it? And that's the way we feel. And again, like I said, that basically put it in a nutshell, because Zoom thing kind of messed it up for me, but we're gonna keep stride. We're gonna. And the other part about it was, I was looking at the proposal for the bond money, and a lot of things.
Councilman Bowman.
What is?
3 minutes is up.
Only for the day? Okay, well, I'll see you. You will see me in your office one day this week.
We'll see you then. Thank you so much, Ms. Jones.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, hold on.
Okay. He can't get in either. Did you have something to say, sir? Were you going there to speak?
No, I wasn't on there to speak. So, and we can't get in anyway, so.
These people talking about they want to come in our neighborhood. Literally.
I think all I had left was Irma Rogers. Did she show up?
No, I
We don't
see
have
anybody.
anyone else besides.
Okay.
Okay, and Miss Rogers, she might have been trying to get in on Zoom.
Because I'm the only one of the 4 of us that was allowed, that's able to get on Zoom.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you all so much.
Okay.
All
Who's
right.
that? Councilperson is that? Who's that?
And we didn't have a Irma Rogers or Ken Kraft. I think that was Sherry Barnett.
Jim Graves.
Okay. I had a Sherry Barnett and Mary Mims.
Miss Mims just spoke.
Councilman Bowman, Ms. Bonnet has sent an email to me and to Councilman Nicholson. So
Okay.
I think she decided that would be sufficient.
That's good enough.
And
Okay.
with Jim Graves, I'm not sure, he had submitted a request, and I think he had emailed me. He was in here, and I'm not sure if he's made his way back into the waiting room yet.
Looking at the waiting room right now, and I don't see any gems. I do see Galaxy S9, iPad 2, Leon's iPhone 7. Like these are the ones that may be those folks. But they've all gotten a message at this point multiple times to change their name.
Okay.
Councilman Bowman,
Yes, sir.
What about the letter that we received from the firefighters union? Were you going to read that?
Did I receive the letter?
It should have been sent to all of us.
It came in from Ms. Sellers.
Yeah, from Captain Barbara Sellers.
Oh, okay. Yeah, she did. Okay, so she's not into. If she's not on, I mean, we can. I don't know.
Well, she said that she would like for it to be read into the public comment.
Okay. I don't have a problem with that if no one else does. Councilwoman Fuller, that's fine. Chairman, that's okay. Okay. To say 2021 has presented the Shreveport firefighters with unprecedented challenges on most every front would be nothing short of an understatement. The tragic loss of 2 of our brothers, staffing shortages, station closures, and an aging fleet that has exceeded its life expectancy has been the forefront of concerns for all of us. This, coupled with emergency responses increasing once again to the COVID crisis and violent crime, has found some of our members reaching threshold. The alarm has been sounded, and the city leaders and community know firsthand dire situation of the Shreveport Fire Department is in. The administration has and continues to advise the mayor and city council the condition of our apparatus and vehicle replacement needs over the last 7 years. We are proud of our members' response during these trying times. The entire department continues to meet the need of each and every day, protecting every corridor of our city. When challenges present, our members drop their shoulders and get it done. Our city leaders have also been diligently working towards a solution to provide much needed relief. Ordinance 116, authored by Councilwoman Taylor, Councilman Butcher, and Councilman Green, will allow the fire chief to purchase additional trucks and equipment. The legislation will provide the Shreveport Fire Department with some much needed relief. This legislation is timely and greatly appreciated. The local leadership has also risen to the occasion and coordinated with our PFFALA president, Chad Major, who offered 2 reserve Baton Rouge Fire Department engines to loan Shreveport Fire Department. While we weather the storm and trucks are replaced and or repaired, the fire chief has partnered with Bossier City Fire Department and Ballantyne Ambulance Services to ensure our community has not experienced a lapse of service. These are examples of a strong community. To call to action has occurred on all fronts, and we realize that we can't stop here. This month at our meeting with the fire chief and at the union meeting, candid discussions are taking place about the November bond and the vital importance that successful passage occurs. The fire chief is putting together the budget that will continue the momentum to pull this up and advance our department forward by showing up a truck replacement plan and requesting a 10% pay raise currently unfunded in the 2022 budget. That would allow Shreveport to become truly competitive with neighboring agencies. The normalization of deviation from that has taken place has had an impact within our department. Ordinance 116 has brought forward some semblance of hope. Our voice is louder when it's organized and united. We can together evaluate and discuss the best course of action that will advance us all. On behalf of the entire membership, I would like to thank personally each members of the City Council and our CAO and Mayor for supporting the Shreveport Fire Department. Sincerely, Barbara Sellers, Shreveport Firefighters Association. That's it.
Thank you, Ms. Sellers.
Did any of the others come in to speak? No.
No.
Okay.
I see a John Eastman. I think I saw his name somewhere. I'm not sure.
If not, like I said, all I had was Irma. I wanted to make sure they had the opportunity. Irma Rogers, and you said Miss Mims spoke, and I didn't see the Graves. So if Jim Graves is not in, and Miss Barnett, that's it. If not, Chairman, you can go ahead and unmute and start.
Okay, thank you. We have, the next item is the executive appointments. And council members, may I suggest that we go ahead and block everything but the home mortgage board and vote as a block on those. If anyone objects, let's speak, say your piece. On the home mortgage board, we're going to vote individual. That's been requested. It's not my doing it, but it's been requested. Is there any objection to that? Okay. Danielle, would you read the names one more time, and we'll go ahead and block both those, and then we'll do the home mortgage authority last.
Okay. We have Community Development Bureau Chief of Administration, Thea Scott, Assistant City Attorney, Brianna Spivey, SPAR Division Manager, Charles Himes, SPAR Division Manager, Ground Maintenance, Donna Conley, SPAR Division Manager, Recreation, Kenneth Cornelius, Zoning Board of Appeals, Andrew Crawford, Deputy Director of Information Technology, Shocker Creel, Shreveport Civil Service Board, Captain Michael Covette Sr. and Officer Brian Watson. And this will require a 2/3 vote to consider before you can vote on these appointments.
Okay,
So
is there a
moved, Mr.
motion?
Chair.
Okay, motion to consider, and do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, is there a motion now to adopt?
So moved, Mr. Chair.
Second,
Well, may I interject a question, Mr. Chairman? Don't we have to vote to consider by 2/3 and then move to? a
yes,
vote
you're right.
to
I got ahead of
approve?
myself. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Councilwoman Taylor,
Aye.
Councilwoman Fuller,
Aye.
Councilman Nicholson,
Aye.
Councilman Butcher,
Aye.
Councilman Fleury,
aye.
Councilman Green,
Aye.
and Councilman Bowman.
Aye.
Okay, that motion has been approved. Now, a
So
motion
moved,
to
Mr.
adopt.
Chair.
Okay,
Second.
may I, second? Madam Clerk, any discussion? Okay, Madam Clerk, will you please call the vote?
Councilwoman Taylor,
Aye.
Councilwoman Fuller,
Aye.
Councilman Nicholson,
Aye.
Councilman Butcher,
Aye.
Councilman Fleury,
Aye.
Councilman Green,
Aye.
and Councilman Bowman.
Aye.
Okay, now the Home Mortgage Authority Board.
So move on Calvin Austin, Mr. Chair.
Okay,
Second.
okay, and the motion to consider, any discussion? Then let's vote. Call the vote, please.
Who made the second?
I did. Butcher.
Okay. Councilwoman Taylor,
Aye.
Councilwoman Fuller,
Aye.
Councilman Nicholson,
Aye.
Councilman Butcher,
Aye.
Councilman Fleury,
Aye.
Councilman Green,
Aye.
and Councilman Bowman.
Aye.
Okay,
So moved,
Mo-
Mr. Chair.
motion to.
Second.
Second. Madam Clerk, any discussion? Please call the vote.
Councilwoman Taylor,
This for Calvin Austin.
Calvin Austin, yes.
Aye.
Councilwoman Fuller,
Aye.
Councilman Nicholson,
Aye.
Councilman Butcher,
Aye.
Councilman Fleury,
Aye.
Councilman Green,
Aye.
and Councilman Bowman.
Aye.
And congratulations, Mr. Austin. You have been confirmed.
So
Now-
move on Burt Brown.
Okay. Brett Brown, motion, second.
I have a motion to consider first.
Motion to consider. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay. Okay. Any discussion? Then call the vote, please.
Councilwoman Taylor,
Aye.
Councilwoman Fuller,
Aye.
Councilman Nicholson,
Aye.
Councilman Butcher,
Aye.
Councilman Fleury,
Aye.
Councilman Green,
Aye.
and Councilman Bowman.
Aye.
Okay. Do I have a motion to adopt?
So move on Marion Clayville Burt.
It's on Brett Brown.
It's on Brett Brown.
Oh, Brett Brown, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Motion.
Do I have all right. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay. Madam Clerk, will you please call the vote?
Councilwoman Taylor,
Aye.
Councilwoman Fuller,
Aye.
Councilman Nicholson,
Aye.
Councilman Butcher,
Aye.
Councilman Fleury,
Aye.
Councilman Green,
Aye.
and Councilman Bowman.
Aye.
Okay. Motion
So
to
move
cons.
on Marion
Okay. Clayville Burks.
Clayville Burt.
Okay.
Second.
Second. Okay. Any discussion? The Madam Clerk, please call the vote on the motion to consider.
Councilwoman Taylor,
Aye.
Councilwoman Fuller,
Aye.
Councilman Nicholson,
Aye.
Councilman Butcher,
Aye.
Councilman Fleury,
Aye.
Councilman Green,
Aye.
and Councilman Bowman.
Aye.
Okay. Motion to consider has been approved. Now motion to adopt.
So move.
Second.
Second.
Okay. Any discussion? Madam Clerk, please call the vote.
Councilwoman Taylor,
Aye.
Councilwoman Fuller,
Aye.
Councilman Nicholson,
Aye.
Councilman Butcher,
Aye.
Councilman Fleury,
Aye.
Councilman Green,
Aye.
and Councilman Bowman.
Aye.
All right. Motion to consider on Patrick Crawford.
So move, Mr. So move.
Okay. Madam Clerk, any discussion? Madam Clerk, please call the vote for the motion to consider.
Councilwoman Taylor,
Aye.
Councilwoman Fuller,
Aye.
Councilman Nicholson,
Aye.
Councilman Butcher,
Aye.
Councilman Fleury,
Aye.
Councilman Green,
Aye.
and Councilman Bowman.
Aye.
Okay. Motion to adopt.
So move, Mr. Chair.
Second.
Second.
Okay. Madam Clerk, will you please call the vote?
Councilwoman Taylor,
Aye.
Councilwoman Fuller,
Aye.
Councilman Nicholson,
Aye.
Councilman Butcher,
Aye.
Councilman Fleury,
Aye.
Councilman Green,
Aye.
and Councilman Bowman.
Aye.
Okay. Motion to adopt has been approved. Now, motion to consider on Lydia Jackson.
So move, Mr. Chair.
Second.
Second.
And this is, I'm sorry, this is on the home, what is this on?
Home Mortgage Authority Board. Okay. Madam Clerk, please call the vote on the motion
Councilwoman
to
Taylor?
consider.
Oh. Councilwoman Taylor,
No.
Councilwoman Fuller,
Aye.
Councilman Nicholson,
Aye.
Councilman Butcher,
Aye.
Councilman Fleury,
Aye.
Councilman Green,
Aye.
and Councilman Bowman.
Aye.
Okay. Motion to adopt.
So move, Mr. Chair.
Second.
Second.
Okay. Madam Clerk, please call the vote for adopt.
Councilwoman Taylor,
No.
Councilwoman Fuller,
Aye.
Councilman Nicholson,
Aye.
Councilman Butcher,
Aye.
Councilman Fleury,
Aye.
Councilman Green,
Aye.
and Councilman Bowman.
Aye.
All right, there are no items under consent agenda for introduction to be adopted. Madam Clerk, please proceed with the regular agenda legislation.
Unmute and hear. Sorry about that. We have Resolution 87, authorizing the mayor to execute a contract between the city of Shreveport, Louisiana, and T. Edwards Concepts LLC to provide curbside recycling within the limits of Shreveport. And it was not indicated that this met the criteria under open meetings law. So a motion to postpone would be appropriate.
Motion postpone, Mr. Chair.
Okay,
Second.
motion to postpone 87 and 93. Are we going to do 93 now? We're going to do them separate.
We can do this separate.
Okay, 87 motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
And this is,
Okay.
this
I made the
is,
motion, I'm sorry.
Yeah, this is motion to
Postpone.
postpone. Yes, and a second has been made. Any discussion?
yes.
Then, okay, go ahead.
So the discussion, I mean, this postponement is due to the open meetings law, correct?
Correct.
Correct.
Okay, I just asked some people to ask. I just wanted to make sure we're all on the same page. Thank you.
Sure, right, okay. Then any discussion, then let's vote.
Councilwoman Taylor,
Aye.
Councilwoman Fuller,
Aye.
Councilman Nicholson,
Aye.
Councilman Butcher,
Aye.
Councilman Fleury,
Aye.
Councilman Green,
Aye.
and Councilman Bowman.
Aye.
Okay, motion postpone has been approved.
Resolution 93, suspending the effects of certain provisions of Chapter 66 relative to the city's health benefits plan. And it has not been
Motion
indicated that
postpone,
this
Mr.
meets.
Chair.
Okay, motion postponed by Councilman Green. A second?
Second.
All right, second. Any discussion? All right, then let's vote.
Councilwoman Taylor,
Aye.
Councilwoman Fuller,
Aye.
Councilman Nicholson,
Aye.
Councilman Butcher,
Aye.
Councilman Fleury,
Aye.
Councilman Green,
Aye.
and Councilman Bowman.
Aye.
Okay, that motion to postpone has been approved.
Resolution 94, authorizing the mayor to execute an entity state agreement between the city of Shreveport and the Louisiana Department of Transportation and Development for the city of Shreveport traffic signal backup project, and this will require a 2/3 vote to consider.
So move, Mr. Chair.
Motion, second.
Second.
All right, any discussion? Then call the vote, please.
Councilwoman Taylor,
Aye.
Councilwoman Fuller,
Aye.
Councilman Nicholson,
Aye.
Councilman Butcher,
Aye.
Councilman Fleury,
Aye.
Councilman Green,
Aye.
and Councilman Bowman.
Aye.
So move, Mr. Chair.
Okay, motion to adopt. Second.
Second.
All right, Madam Clerk, please call the vote.
Councilwoman Taylor,
Aye.
Councilwoman Fuller,
Aye.
Councilman Nicholson,
Aye.
Councilman Butcher,
Aye.
Councilman Fleury,
Aye.
Councilman Green,
Aye.
and Councilman Bowman.
Aye.
Okay, motion to adopt has been approved.
Resolution
90
95, employing professionals with respect to the issuance of the city of Shreveport, state of Louisiana, of not exceeding $242,600,000 of general obligation bonds in one or more series on a taxable or tax exempt basis, and this will require a 2/3 vote to consider.
Okay, we have a motion to consider has been made, and now do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, a second. Is there any discussion? Please call the vote.
Councilwoman Taylor,
Aye.
Councilwoman Fuller,
Aye.
Councilman Nicholson,
Aye.
Councilman Butcher,
Aye.
Councilman Floyd,
Aye.
Councilman Green,
Aye.
and Councilman Bowman.
Aye.
Now a motion to adopt.
So moved, Mr. Chair.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilwoman Taylor,
Aye.
Councilwoman Fuller,
Aye.
Councilman Nicholson,
Aye.
Councilman Butcher,
Aye.
Councilman Floyd,
Aye.
Councilman Green,
Aye.
and Councilman Bowman.
Aye.
Ayes have it.
Resolution 96, authorizing the mayor to execute an intergovernmental agreement between the city of Shreveport and the Department of Transportation
So moved, Mr. Chair.
and Development for video sharing, and this requires a 2/3 vote for consideration.
Okay, motion been made to consider. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second.
Okay, Madam Clerk, will you please call the vote?
Councilwoman Taylor,
Aye.
Councilwoman Fuller,
Aye.
Councilman Nicholson,
Aye.
Councilman Butcher,
Aye.
Councilman Fleury,
Aye.
Councilman Green,
Aye.
and Councilman Bowman.
Aye.
Motion to adopt.
So moved, Mr. Chair.
Second.
Second.
Okay, motion and second. Madam Clerk, please call the vote.
Councilwoman Taylor,
Yes.
Councilwoman Fuller,
Aye.
Councilman Nicholson,
Aye.
Councilman Butcher,
Aye.
Councilman Fleury,
Aye.
Councilman Green,
Aye.
and Councilman Bowman.
Aye.
Okay, ayes have it. 97.
So moved, Mr. Chair.
Resolution
Second? Go ahead, I'm
Resolution
sorry.
97, Resolution 97, authorizing the mayor to execute grant documents with the U.S. Department of Justice.
So moved.
This
Motion
requires a
been-
2/3 vote.
Okay, motion been made. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, please call the vote.
Councilwoman Taylor,
Aye.
Councilwoman Fuller,
Aye.
Councilman Nicholson,
Aye.
Councilman Butcher,
Aye.
Councilman Fleury,
Aye.
Councilman Green,
Aye.
and Councilman Bowman.
Aye.
Motion to adopt.
So moved, Mr. Chair.
Second?
Second.
All right, Madam Clerk, please call the vote.
Councilwoman Taylor,
Aye.
Councilwoman Fuller,
Aye.
Councilman Nicholson,
Aye.
Councilman Butcher,
Aye.
Councilman Fleury,
Aye.
Councilman Green,
Aye.
and Councilman Bowman.
Aye.
Okay, the ayes have it.
Resolution 98, authorizing the mayor to make application with the U.S. Department of Justice for PSN grant, and this requires a 2/3 vote to consider.
So moved, Mr. Chair.
Okay, motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, Madam Clerk, will you please call the vote?
Councilwoman Taylor,
Aye.
Councilwoman Fuller,
Aye.
Councilman Nicholson,
Aye.
Councilman Butcher,
Aye.
Councilman Fleury,
Aye.
Councilman Green,
Aye.
and Councilman Bowman.
Aye.
Ayes have it. Now motion to adopt.
So moved, Mr. Chair.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, please call the vote.
Councilwoman Taylor,
Aye.
Councilwoman Fuller,
Aye.
Councilman Nicholson,
Aye.
Councilman Butcher,
Aye.
Councilman Fleury,
Aye.
Councilman Green,
Aye.
and Councilman Bowman.
Aye.
Ayes have it. It's adopted.
Resolution 99, urging and requesting the Louisiana Department of Natural Resources Office of Conservation to schedule a meeting with the City of Shreveport residents in the Martin Luther King community, and this requires a 2/3 vote to consider.
So moved.
Mr. Chair.
All right, motion and a second. And Madam Clerk, will you call the vote?
Discussion, Mr. Chairman.
All right, discussion.
Mr. Chairman, this resolution, if adopted, would do two different things. One consequence of the resolution would be urging the Department of Natural Resources to schedule a meeting with citizens in the MLK community to discuss the consequences of drilling and other oil and gas activity in their communities. I fully support that piece of the resolution, and I think it is appropriate and prudent for all oil and gas operators to reach out to this community and fully engage them and address their concerns. But the resolution would also have the City Council urge the Department of Natural Resources to enact a 6-month moratorium on all drilling activity in District A. I can't support the resolution because it includes that provision. I think such a resolution would send the wrong message to the oil and gas industry, which is one of our very most important economic partners in this community. I do defer to Councilwoman Taylor's judgment that this resolution is time sensitive, and so I will vote yes on the motion to consider, but I will vote no on the resolution itself, and I encourage my colleagues to do the same. Thank you.
Mr. Chair.
Yes.
Thank you, Councilman Nicholson. In response, what we're faced with in the MLK area is drilling operations that are quite different from a lot of the operations that are taking place in this city. These wells are essentially close to residential properties, which there in itself lies a problem. The oil and gas industry, in submitting this application back in March, had sufficient time to do whatever it was that they needed to do. When it came to the residents, it was at the end of May. They held a meeting here in Shreveport. I requested an additional meeting because, of course, in the MLK area, they were faced with this challenge in 2009, which did not prove to be prudent to a lot of the residents that were there. So going in and requesting this particular moratorium, specifically in the MLK area, that this office needs to speak with our constituents to provide clarity in the areas of what it is that they need to do. The oil and gas industry, as I appreciate it on many levels, will make a ton of money. And when it comes to negotiating leases within our community, I want to make sure that our residents come out on the winning end as well. But also we have to look at what other infractions that may occur within the MLK community. So I just want this moratorium for them in this area to give them time and to give the Office of Conservation enough time to go in and actually have a full discussion with the residents. There are individuals that may understand leases and may understand that lease language. That is not the case for everyone. And I don't want my residents to be forced pulled into anything and into items that they don't understand, because this is their land that they're asking to drill on. It's not the oil and gas industry lands, it's property owners' land who's going to be affected by this. So this is why I'm asking for your support as it relates to this. We talk about Cross Lake in District A. We want to make sure that things don't occur within the lake area, any activity there. So this is the only thing that I'm asking, and I'm asking for the support from my colleagues.
Mr. Chair.
Yes.
Mr. Chair, I'll be supporting it because, one, I'm sick and tired of oil and gas. They always pull mouthing, and the only time that they do us a favor is to, I guess, put a slogan on pumps that say, "Go big or go home." And so I'll be supporting it because I'm just sick of them. Even out about where my church in that particular district then they pour mouthing the people out there, and as though they are doing the people a favor. Of course, you know, the oil is going to be there, the gas is going to be there, and I just think that they need to be fair with the people. So I'm supporting this. I wish we would do one all over the whole city, because oil and gas, they're just jiving people and poor mouthing, and I just think that's wrong. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
All right. Thank you, Councilman Green.
And also, it's just for District A at this particular time, so nobody else district is being affected by it. But I wish it was in some other district. Thank you.
Thank you.
Councilman, as I sit here in my office at home, I have a workover rig less than 200 yards from my house right now. They're inundated out here. So it does impact. In fact, I had an email today from some Ellaby Road Estates residents about, which is outside the city, but about a well. So they're actually right now 3 smackover rigs within a 2-mile radius of where I live. So it does impact a lot of areas.
Thank you, Councilman.
Thank you, Councilman.
I didn't have enough gas to come out there to see where you live at out there.
I understand.
But he has a whole lake.
Ocean.
Councilman Butcher, my gas only lasts me from Sunday to Sunday.
I got you.
Were there I guess a way to also pull, and I don't know if this, I guess we can, for us to be able to pull the leases like from other areas or neighborhoods that they've, you know, worked in and drilled in to see what those benefits were there versus what's being offered out in your area, Councilwoman?
I can give you an example, Councilman Bowman.
Okay.
When the leasing operators came, there are a number of questions that the residents had there that were not answered. So even going in and comparing one lease to the other, things may be different as they reside in certain communities. Here, when we're talking about some residents in the MLK area, some residents are not fluent, even myself not fluent in oil and gas leases, to know what things you should and should not expect. And so therefore you would get an oil and gas attorney. I would like for my constituents to have the negotiating and the buying power that these individuals here may have. There comes a point in time that when you're talking about drilling on somebody else's property, those are the common lay effects that they will have long term. If they don't know this information up front, if they don't know what specific or pertinent questions to ask, and may just go ahead and sign into this lease without knowing what other benefits that they can actually ask for. And that's all of my constituents are doing. When you come up into the MLK area, you already see large trucks already coming down David Raines Road. We cannot tell private owners what to do with their land, especially when they are not even located in the city of Shreveport. But you have a level of concerns that need to be addressed, questions that need to be answered. You again are asking to drill on their property. What is the problem with coming in and asking the questions? So in the comparison of leases, that can happen, but it's still not going to answer all of the questions that need to be asked, and it's not going to give them enough time to even levy or garner the resources that they need to have a fair and equitable amount to lease for long term. You know the oil there, don't force pull them. Give them that opportunity to go over here and speak. And they have already gone to Baton Rouge at this point to speak to the Office of Natural Resources. So this is support documentation for what they have already addressed.
Okay, and I guess that's not an issue with the state law on this one, but so the 6 months, is that a desired amount of time? Is that a good amount of time? Should it be 3 months or should it be something less? Or are you sure that
the 6 months is what they asked the office?
Okay. And the office stated, and I'm just making sure I got all my ducks together because I got the same.
The office hasn't made the recommendation yet.
Okay.
This is in support. They've already gone down to Baton Rouge. So this is an additional support.
Okay, gotcha.
Well, Mr. Chairman, I'll just close my remarks on this legislation by saying that, over the course of almost 18 years of practice, I've represented oil and gas operators in lawsuits, and I've also represented landowners. And in fact, I had a case set for trial just like last week in County District Court, in which I represent landowners against an oil and gas operator in a dispute about usage of their land. So I'm very sympathetic to the concerns that have motivated Councilwoman Taylor to bring this legislation. She's an effective and passionate advocate for her district, and I appreciate that about her every time we sit down together. My concern about the legislation, again, though, is that it has us requesting a blanket ban on drilling for 6 months from the Department of Natural Resources. I think it's very unlikely, exceedingly unlikely, that DNR is going to impose such a ban, but our requesting it as the governing authority of this city does send a message to oil and gas operators and oil and gas lessees. And those who have said that oil and gas operators sometimes pour mouth and try to get everything they can to the detriment of landowners. Of course, that has been true in some cases. That's happened in this community in recent years, no doubt about that. But oil and gas operators and that industry, nonetheless, are just so critically important for our economy that I don't want us to adopt legislation that sends the wrong message and that is not going to have the effect of imposing a moratorium, because we don't, as a city council, have the legal authority to do that. We can only ask DNR. DNR will in all probability decline that request. So I respect the divergence of opinions on this issue. I just want to make sure that I stated mine for the record. Thank you.
And as I
Mr. Chair.
appreciate that, Councilman Nicholson, and I do, let them make the decision to say no to that, if that's what they decide to do as it relates to that. But while we're here, so do our residents. They deserve a fair and equitable chance, as well as the oil and gas industry, because the oil and gas industry cannot do anything without their land. It's their land, and they should be fair and sit down at the table, and let's make sure that everybody is profitable at that particular point. So if the Office of Conservation wants to say no, then they will say no, but they will not. Let's not provide them the opportunity to show that we often have the support of our constituents here, because we want them to be treated fairly.
Mr. Chair.
Yes.
Mr. Chair, I'd just like to just say this for the record. I lived in Belcher growing up. My grandmama had a farm next door to the Gam plantation, still there. And when I was growing up, I would ask my grandmama why we never had an oil well on our land. And she said, well, baby, we just don't have no oil. Well, the Gam plantation, they had wells less than 50 feet from my grandmama's land. They circled it. I didn't realize until I was grown that they were slant drilling. They would say to us, to her, when we would inquire about why nobody drilled on our land, they wouldn't give us no answers. They were slant drilling. And they slant drill. They got, if you go up there now, they probably got about 35 or 40 wells circling our land, but their land always had oil on it, and we had none. And it's less than 25 to 50 feet. And as I've said, oil and gas, they always pour mouthing. And I'm not talking about what I heard. I'm talking about what I know. I'm not going to put any of them on blast, but they're pour mouthing. And I don't think it's right for them to do it to the Cooper Road, District A, and to nobody else. And I just think that you ought to have a right to say no to your own land. I don't think, in fact, I can't remember what the president, he put I don't want to misquote it, but he put somewhat of a ban on oil and gas when he came in. So it's not like we just sending a bad message. Washington D.C. has already set the standards, and so I don't have that information before me, but that's already set, and so. But I just wanted to throw that out parenthetically as to how unfair they've been down through the years when it comes to majority Black neighborhoods. And I think it's very unfair. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. All right, y'all ready to vote on this adoption?
Yes, sir.
All right, let's call for the vote.
So this is a motion to consider, Mr. Chairman, I believe.
Oh, all right,
Yes.
motion to consider.
Councilwoman Taylor,
Aye.
Councilwoman Fuller,
Aye.
Councilman Nicholson,
Aye.
Councilman Butcher,
Aye.
Councilman Flory,
Aye.
Councilman Green,
Aye.
and Councilman Bowman.
Aye.
Okay, let's move to the motion to adopt. Do I have a motion?
So move, Mr. Chair.
And do I hear a second? Second, okay. Madam Clerk, is any further discussion? Then let's vote. Call for the vote.
Councilwoman Taylor,
Aye.
Councilwoman Fuller,
Aye.
Councilman Nicholson,
Nay.
Councilman Butcher,
Nay.
Councilman Flory,
Aye.
Councilman Green,
Aye.
and Councilman Bowman.
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, Madam Clerk, will you proceed with the introduction for us?
Mr. Chairman, I've received a request from the City Attorney's Office that Resolution 102 not be introduced, and if there's no objection, I will not read that into the record so that it's not introduced today.
That's fine.
And then we have
So ordered.
Resolution 100, declaring the official intent of the City of Shreveport to reimburse certain capital expenditure from proceeds of lease purchase agreements. Resolution 101, acknowledging that the City Council has reviewed the 2020 Internal Municipal Pollution Prevention Report concerning the North Regional and Lucas wastewater plants. And neither of these items meet the requirements under open meetings law to be considered on a teleconference meeting. So a motion to postpone would be appropriate on these.
Councilman Green, you make a motion to postpone?
Yes, sir. So move, Mr. Chair.
All right, do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, please call the roll.
Councilwoman Taylor,
Aye.
I mean, vote.
Councilwoman Fuller,
Aye.
Councilman Nicholson,
Aye.
Councilman Butcher,
Aye.
Councilman Flory,
Aye.
Councilman Green,
Aye.
and Councilman Bowman.
Aye.
All right. Proceed with the introduction of ordinances, Madam Clerk.
And Mr. Chairman, I'll first read the ones that don't fall under open meetings law to be considered today. And that is Ordinance 113, amending the 2021 Riverfront Development Special Revenue Fund budget. And Ordinance 118 to amend chapters 2, 25, 34, 38.5, 78, and 94 of the Code of Ordinances by abolishing the Comprehensive Environmental Board of Appeals. And it would be appropriate to postpone these two items.
Move to postpone.
Okay, second. All right, any discussion? Let's call for the vote.
Councilwoman Taylor,
Aye.
Councilwoman Fuller,
Aye.
Councilman Nicholson,
Aye.
Councilman Butcher,
Aye.
Councilman Flory,
Aye.
Councilman Green,
Aye.
and Councilman Bowman.
Aye.
Okay. Chairman, I'll proceed with the ordinances that will require a 2/3 motion to consider under open meetings law. And that is Ordinance 114, amending the 2021 Capital Projects Fund budget. Ordinance 115, amending the 2021 Airport Enterprise Fund budget. and ordinance 117, amending the 2021 budget for the general fund. And those will need a motion to consider.
Is there a motion to consider?
So
So
moved.
move, Mr. Chair.
Second?
Second.
Okay, Madam Clerk, will you please call the vote on the motion to consider?
Councilwoman Taylor,
Aye.
Councilwoman Fuller,
Aye.
Councilman Nicholson,
Aye.
Councilman Butcher,
Aye.
Councilman Fleury,
Aye.
Councilman Green,
Aye.
and Councilman Bowman.
Aye.
Okay, now, is there a
So
motion?
move, Mr. Chair.
Okay, second
Second.
to introduce?
Mr.
Okay. Yes, Councilman.
I just want to confirm it's permissible for us to do these as a block and not individually. I don't want there to be any open meeting problems with what we're doing.
Yes, these
Okay.
are the introduction of ordinances that we typically take up in a block. I've just separated them since they require different things under open meetings law for Zoom.
Okay, thanks.
So
Okay,
those
so
items
the-
only need a,
Yeah.
those items
Mo-
only needed a motion and a
Ordinance
second.
114, 115, and 117 for the introduction. Okay,
And
So move,
then
Mr. Chair.
go ahead.
Ordinance 116, amending the 2021 budget for the general fund. Under open meetings law, this one does not need a 2/3 vote to consider. You guys simply need a motion and a second to introduce this item.
So moved. Introduce.
Do I have a second?
Councilwoman Taylor said.
Okay, I didn't. Okay. All right, Madam Clerk, will you proceed with ordinance in second reading and final passage?
Ordinance 108 to amend various articles and sections of the City of Shreveport, Louisiana Unified Development Code relative to payday title loans, and this will require a 2/3 vote to consider.
Move to consider.
Second.
Okay, any discussion?
Now tell me, this is to make sure I get it right. I want to make sure we're all on the same page. This is to do what?
Raise some fees, looks like. Alan, would you speak to that?
Yes, to be happy to. If you recall, over a year ago, the council asked the MPC to do a moratorium on payday loan, the issuance of certificates of occupancy, and to study ways of possibly more effectively regulating payday loans. And what we did was we studied it for a year. We looked around the country and around the state on ways that other municipalities were going into addressing the small regulatory requirements for these operations, and came up with some spacing requirements and making sure that they were not allowed by right in any district, that they would have to go before the board in all districts, and they were only allowed in 3 commercial districts. We required that them to be spaced from residential. They would be spaced from churches, schools, playgrounds. We just did all of the things that you asked us to do to make them less intrusive and less impactful in neighborhoods.
Very good.
So move,
Very
Mr.
good.
Chair.
All right, motion to consider. Second?
So move.
Okay, second.
Second.
All right, please call the
Second.
vote.
It was
Vote to
second by
consider.
John Nicholson. I'm sorry.
Thank you. All right. Please call the vote.
Councilwoman Taylor,
Aye.
Councilwoman Fuller, Councilman Nicholson,
Aye.
Councilman Butcher,
Aye.
Councilman Fleury,
Aye.
Councilman Green,
Aye.
and Councilman Bowman.
When unmute, aye.
Is there a motion now to adopt?
So move.
So move.
Okay, second.
Second if I'm not the motion.
Please call the vote.
Councilwoman Taylor,
Aye.
Councilwoman Fuller,
Aye.
Councilman Nicholson,
Aye.
Councilman Butcher,
Aye.
Councilman Fleury,
Aye.
Councilman Green,
Aye.
and Councilman Bowman.
Aye.
All right.
So moved, Mr. Chair.
Okay. 109. Motion to consider has been
So
made.
moved, Mr. Chair.
Yeah, and second by. Okay, and call for the vote on the motion to consider.
Councilwoman Taylor,
Aye.
Councilwoman Fuller,
Aye.
Councilman Nicholson,
Aye.
Councilman Butcher,
Aye.
Councilman Fleury,
Aye.
Councilman Green,
Aye.
and Councilman Bowman.
Okay, the ayes have it. Their motion to adopt.
So moved, Mr. Chair.
Second,
Second.
okay, motion has been made and second. Councilman, clerk, please call the vote.
Councilwoman Taylor,
Aye.
Councilwoman Fuller,
Nay.
Councilman Nicholson,
Aye.
Councilman Butcher,
Aye.
Councilman Fleury,
Nay.
Councilman Green,
Aye.
and Councilman Bowman.
Got off track. I think I'm looking at the wrong one. Okay,
We all on the
109.
this is 109.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Ordinance 110, zoning case number 20-54-D, an ordinance to amend the official zoning map of the City of Shreveport Unified Development Code by rezoning property located on the southwest corner of Kingston Road and Francis Road, Shreveport, Caddo Parish from C2 Corridor Commercial District, C2 Spud Corridor Commercial Small Planned Unit Development District. And this requires a 2/3 vote to consider.
So moved, Mr. Chair.
Second,
Second.
okay. Members of the council, I'm gonna be voting no on this. I'd like to ask that you remand this back to the MPC. Mr. Clark has told me that he's gonna put some overview of some requirements on this. This is the trucks and trailers out there and right in neighborhoods right there in their backyard. They're unhappy about it. I've received both sides, but this is not a good thing. This is it's problematic. So I'm asking us to go back to the MPC to be sure that we got those restrictions that they're talking about in writing as a part of this. Any other discussion?
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Chair, should we vote yes on the motion to consider and then on a subsequent motion vote to send it
no.
back? I just want to make sure I do what you requested.
My question was, Mr. Chair, can we just vote to send it back to the MP?
That's what I wanted to do. Yes. That's what
You'll
I
have
did.
to do the motion to consider first and then make a subsequent motion to remand it to the MPC.
Okay.
So I've made the motion to.
Made the motion. We have a second.
Then I'd
on
like
that.
to make, then I'd
Okay.
like to make a substitute motion to send it back to the MPC.
Okay, thank you, Councilman Green. Now, let's vote on the motion to consider right now. Any other discussion? Okay, let's vote. Call the vote, please.
Councilwoman Taylor,
Aye.
Councilwoman Fuller,
Aye.
Councilman Nicholson,
Aye.
Councilman Butcher,
Aye.
Councilman Fleury,
Aye.
Councilman Green,
Aye.
and Councilman Bowman.
Aye.
Okay, now a motion is to remand it back to the MPC.
So moved, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. And I second. Any
So-
discussion?
So yes, we're remanding it back.
Yes.
Okay.
Call for the vote, please.
Councilwoman Taylor,
Aye.
Councilwoman Fuller,
Aye.
Councilman Nicholson,
Aye.
Councilman Butcher,
Aye.
Councilman Fleury,
Aye.
Councilman Green,
Aye.
and Councilman Bowman.
Aye.
Thank you, Council. Now,
Chairman,
yes,
I did. That's where I 109 and 110. That's why I was ahead of myself. At 10 is where I did want to say yes, and 9 is where I was voting no. But I guess it didn't matter. I just want to state that for the record.
okay.
And
All
also on 10, where we still need to get some legislation or something together as far as these 18-wheelers parking everywhere else that they're
Oh,
parking.
they're multiplying.
So
And we got nobody that's helping us, Jerry. The
Right.
police and everybody's and I'm being told by the city attorney that we can't put a boot on private property. So I just don't know what we're going to do.
well, we need to, I don't know. I see them at the Circle K's and everybody's
Yeah.
in the district that are closed down, the Circle K's where they're parking. And then the owners are called, but I direct them back to SPD or whatever, but what can we do? Or what, I've seen them in, not just in my district, in your district, I've seen them in Councilwoman Fuller's district also, on Line Avenue. It's I don't know, we just being saturated with them parking everywhere. And this used to not be a problem, but it's a major concern and problem right now. So I just think we need to get together and come up with some kind of something.
So we can't boot them, correct? We can't boot them, right?
You're on mute, Chairman.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes,
So we can't boot the trucks, correct?
not on private property. The city
they
attorney
are-
says we can't do it on private property.
So when they're parked, are they parked on their property?
No, they're parked at a vacant station or some national company owns it, or
So we can't have them towed?
no.
We can't go on that property, period. But the actual owner of the property can call, if I'm not mistaken.
So the owner of the property would
Well-
need to,
But
So
you'd have
even-
to call Greenwich, Connecticut or somewhere like that to find the owner. And
no,
they
I'm saying
just-
the property where they're parked, if they're parked on, let's say, somebody else's property, there is nothing that we could do in reference to that?
Not really.
Mr. Chair,
Yes,
if those businesses had no trespassing signs, then the police could enforce that. We have cited those 18-wheelers that's parking in residential areas. In
Mhm.
fact, we sent the CLOs out last week, as you recall, to
Right.
cite those
Right.
trucks. So if there was a no trespassing, then we could deal with those situations.
Mr. Chairman and Mr. Washington, why can we not just issue stiff tickets for these illegally parked trucks? And we just increase the fine until it hurts enough that they stop parking there? What's the impediment to that?
it's a civil matter.
No, we don't set the fines, I think that would be either the courts or the council, but we are citing the ones in residential districts. We're just not able to cite on that private property.
Well, I'd like some more information from the city attorney or his assistant about this, because as Tabitha or as Councilwoman Taylor's question suggests, I don't understand why we can't cite an 18-wheeler that's illegally parked on property that belongs to somebody else. And I'm not expressing an opinion about it because I don't know, but that doesn't make any sense to me. So I just hope we'll do everything we can. I'd like all of you, I've gotten lots of emails and calls from people about this, and I just can't believe that as a city we can't keep people from illegally parking 18-wheelers where they're not supposed to.
I saw Mr. Clark's hands go up. I don't know if he's got something to add to that.
I'm like Councilman Nicholson, in my 26-year history with the Metropolitan Planning Commission, we have consistently cited 18-wheelers illegally parked on property that was not zoned heavy or light industrial. I don't know what happened to those ordinances. I've reached out to the police department on numerous occasions because they've turned a shopping center on Pines Road into a lay-down yard with 18-wheelers and asked them to go back again and cite. And these requests are falling on deaf ears, but I continue to ask them, why can't we cite these drivers? We will cite the property owners for illegal parking on their property, but these are not necessarily at the request of the property owners. These are illegal drivers that are just dropping these 18-wheelers off on private property and knowing that there are no consequences for them doing so. I would love to get an opinion from the city attorney that said that helps me understand, because we get the calls also. And we're citing property owners, but we get no support from the police department.
Yeah. And that parking lot, what we're referring to, has been damaged. I mean, it's a mess. It's damaged real bad. And some of the a couple of the owners, the major owner of over there he passed in a helicopter accident about a year and a half, maybe 2 years now. So the other owners who have this is falling into their hands now, but they wanted to replace the parking lot, but they were asking about the 18-wheelers, and I told them, well, really, that's, should be, I need help from them because it's their responsibility to call this in as well. And I think they've been calling down to Mr. Clark's office. Those are the calls that he's been getting.
We're just getting no help and support.
Well, you're exactly right, Alan. We don't have anybody to write a ticket on the weekend, and they flood into town and park close to these apartments, and it's maddening, and as to what's going on. We got no way to fight this thing.
Mr. Chair.
Yes.
So, do we have some legislation that say officers can't write tickets on weekend? Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm just saying that they're not available. We've only written, I hate to go this route, but we've only written 5 littering tickets in January. 5. And that's unacceptable. Nobody is being held accountable in the police department. Same way with these 18-wheelers. They don't want to do this. They said they don't want to do it. They don't want to do nothing about cars in the yard, but they're the one assigned to the task of writing the ticket. That's all I'm going to say. Until we get serious about cleaning our city up and making it look decent, because we're driving the price of property down. When somebody pulls up in the driveway and parks an 18-wheeler, it makes the whole neighborhood go south.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
I'm going to ask the mayor and the CAO if they can look into having this enforced some way, somehow, please.
Thank you.
Yeah, we'll get with the city attorney, and I mean, this has to be a problem in other cities as well. If it's against the law to boot private property on private property, we need to figure out what other cities are doing to prevent it. So we'll get with the city attorney and make some recommendations on how we can curb this 18-wheeler parking.
I have a question.
Chairman.
Yes. Yes, Ms. Fuller.
Wouldn't it send a stronger message rather than to remand this back, to actually let this legislation have some teeth by denying the zoning? Because if you deny the zoning, then they aren't supposed to be parking there on that property. And it sends a message, and then they have to wait a year before they can apply for another thing. Isn't that correct, Mr. Clark?
That is correct.
So if we want everyone else to be accountable for doing these things, we have an opportunity right now to just vote this thing down rather than remand it back.
Okay.
I mean, I understand wanting to give them a chance to come up with something else, but at the same time, we're saying we don't want it there at all. Because what's going to happen is more applications for SPUDs across the city so that people can have these trucks parked in other areas adjacent residential.
Right.
It opens the floodgates. So I think that
You're
I mean, the prevailing side could have this reconsidered. I don't know, just a thought.
Yeah, no, I thank you. I believe you hit it right on the head, and I agree with you 100%. Thank you for speaking up on that, because that is exactly right. You think about it, that we need to just nail it and say no right now. Let it go that way. Now, on the prevailing,
Call the vote.
right, we're going, Danielle, we want to bring that back to reconsider.
I want to withdraw my motion.
And
So
you guys
the-
have already,
On
it's
one-
already
on
passed to
110.
reconsider. You can do a motion to reconsider ordinance 110.
Yes,
So moved to reconsider, Mr. Chair.
and I second.
Okay, discussion.
Discussion.
So the teeth that we were speaking of earlier, that Mr. Clark was going to put in place, or trying to have zoning to put in place, that's just null and void, and we just go move on. You say there's no reason to go, Ms. Fuller, you're saying there's no reason to go
Well,
that route.
the whole thing is, do you want, go ahead, Mr. Clark, sorry.
If I could just interject just one thing, just for the record, this did go through a process. This was introduced to the residents of the area. The residents of the area, because we were not in the beginning supportive of this application. The residents in the area, you correct me if I'm incorrectly, Councilman Fleury, the residents agreed that this was something that was acceptable with certain amenities provided by these property owners. This is the only reason that this was moved forward by the MPC board, was because the citizens had spoken. And it was one of the oddest neighborhood participation plan meetings that we have witnessed, because when the meeting opened, everybody was in opposition. But by the end of the meeting, the citizens were supporting the two gentlemen that were submitting the application for this truck parking facility. So I just wanted to be clear to you, to the council, that the MPC was not going against better judgment. The MPC was embracing the thoughts of the citizens, because they came up with the amenities, which included a mural that you would be familiar with, Councilman Nicholson. They came up with a festival once a month where they would provide snow cone machines and so forth. All of these things were agreed upon. So the MPC board did not get creative. These were the recommendations of the citizens in that particular area.
Levette, wouldn't the master plan have something to say here?
Quite likely, but I want to say I respect what you're saying, Mr. Clark. And I remember you mentioned that 2 weeks ago. But at the meeting 2 weeks ago, we had one resident say that she was still in opposition. And we've received 5 calls to the office today. And we also received an email with several pictures of the current state of the property. And I guess that to me shows that, you know, maybe what they'll do after they get their SPUD is one thing, but they would be giving us a better example of what to expect by doing the right thing now, as opposed to what they're doing. And I have driven through that site. And again, I just think that, you know, it opens up the floodgates for more residential areas to end up seeing SPUD applications. They have to reinforce the parking lot, put up a huge wall around it, figure out how to mitigate the sound, the noise of everything that goes along with those trucks whenever they're coming through. And I don't know if it's really that plausible compared to what you even see now, that they're really going to go the distance on that. So Mr. Bowman, Councilman Bowman, I guess what I meant is remanding this back for him to go ahead and add more stuff to it shows that we're trying to give lenience and work with them, But ultimately, it sounds like what we're saying is we want more accountability out of our existing departments that are responsible for this. And also that enough neighbors are probably saying that they really don't want this.
Right.
Like I said, no one said to the MPC that they did not want this. And this is not on this is private property owned by the applicants, which is different from the illegal parking that's happening in shopping centers and commercial locations around the city.
That's completely fair, Mr. Clark. They may not have said it to you, and I understand how the neighborhood participation works. But again, we've received information today that people do have some opposition. And a lot of it's based on the current condition of the property owned by those property owners as it stands now. So, I mean, we can go ahead and remand it back to see what other stipulations you can put on it. Or we can just say, no, we don't want trucks this close to residential. That's what it seems like to me.
If I could just make one last comment. We advise the applicant to make no improvements to the property pending the outcome of this application going before the council. So they made no improvements to the property. And they're awaiting the decision of the council, and they're prepared to make all of the improvements that they had submitted that they would make. And we make that same recommendation to any property owner not to invest money into property that you don't know if you'll have the right to do what you're requesting to do.
Okay. I think we need to vote. Up or down?
Which way you recommend, Mr. Chair?
No, we say we vote no on it.
So we're
All right.
This
reconsidering.
is the motion to reconsider.
Oh, this is a motion reconsider, then we vote yes on that to reconsider.
So moved to reconsider.
Okay,
Second.
second. Mhm. Any
Councilman
discussion?
Nicholson? Councilman Nicholson looked like he had a question.
Oh, okay.
Well, Mr. Chairman, we're talking about two separate issues. One issue is whether a spud in your district should be allowed to accommodate parking. And the other issue is what we should do more broadly about 18-wheelers that illegally park. If your request is that we reconsider this and deny the spud in your district, my inclination is to defer to you as the member who represents this district. But I don't think that addresses the broader question that we need to have a further conversation on about what do we do about these 18-wheelers citywide. So if you're asking to reconsider the vote we just took at your district, and I'll support you.
Yeah, and Councilman
that's what you
Bowman,
want.
right, and Councilman Bowman's going to work with the mayor and Chief Whitehorn on the 18-wheeler thing is what I understood.
And I agree with that, Councilman Nicholson. Yeah.
Okay, all right, and we're going to vote yes to reconsider, okay? Please call the vote.
Councilwoman Taylor,
Aye.
Councilwoman Fuller,
Aye.
Councilman Nicholson,
Aye.
Councilman Butcher,
Aye.
Councilman Fleury,
Aye.
Councilman Green,
Aye.
and Councilman Bowman.
Aye.
Okay, the ayes have it. All right, now on 110, I ask that you
So
vote
moved,
no.
Mr. Chair.
Second. Any discussion? Let's vote. Call the roll, please.
Councilwoman Taylor,
No.
Councilwoman Fuller,
No.
Councilman Nicholson,
No.
Councilman Butcher,
No.
Councilman Fleury,
No.
Councilman Green,
No.
and Councilman Bowman.
Nay.
Thank y'all.
Welcome.
Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
I just want to make sure that before we leave on this, that we make sure, I mean, if we need to have a public safety committee meeting or something, we've got to be able to control this where we don't get to this point. So I voted because it's your district, and I think it's a horrible idea to park trucks there, but I do want this not to be the last time we discuss this.
Okay.
Ordinance 111, zoning case number 21-62-C, an ordinance to amend the official zoning map of the city of Shreveport Unified Development Code by rezoning property located on the north side of Overton Brooks Road, approximately 1,600 feet west of Norris Ferry Road, Shreveport, Caddo Parish, from R17 Single Family Residential to RE Residential Estate District.
So moved.
Okay, second. Any discussion? Please call the vote.
Councilwoman Taylor,
Aye.
Councilwoman Fuller,
Aye.
Councilman Nicholson,
Aye.
Councilman Butcher,
Aye.
Councilman Fleury,
Aye.
Councilman Green,
Aye.
and Councilman Bowman.
Aye.
Motion to adopt.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? Please call the vote.
Councilwoman Taylor,
Aye.
Councilwoman Fuller,
Aye.
Councilman Nicholson,
Aye.
Councilman Butcher,
Aye.
Councilman Fleury,
Aye.
Councilman Green,
Aye.
and Councilman Bowman.
Aye.
All right, ordinance 112, zoning case number 21-63-C, an ordinance to amend the official zoning map of the city of Shreveport Unified Development Code by rezoning property located on the northwest corner of Erie Drive and King Place, Shreveport, Caddo Parish, from I-2 Heavy Industrial District to C3 General Commercial District.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
Mr. Clark, do we have any, I looked through the packet and everything. Do we have any idea what they're wanting to put at this location?
From what they presented to us, Councilman Butcher, it was a Muslim funeral home. And it's different from the traditional funeral home that we are accustomed to, but it was the only classification that we had relatively related to what they're doing. But we don't think there's any real activities that will be conducted at this location, but that's how we got to a funeral home.
My only concern is it abuts the Azalea Garden neighborhood pretty close, but they also abut I-2 and C3 on the other side. I don't see, my only concern is that could be used at some point for some other C3 business. But if that's what their intention is to put a funeral home there, I'll be in support of it.
And it's already I-2 now, so it could be used as a heavy industrial use.
Yeah.
If it's not changed.
Alan, will that be, if they want to have a crematory, that be covered under that?
It would be covered under that, but I don't think that those are any of the uses that they're contemplating, Councilman Fleury.
Okay,
Discussion. I had a question, please.
yes. Mhm.
And this is for Mr. Clark and Councilman Butcher. I know this is not my area, but I was just concerned when he said not the type of funeral home that we are used to. I'm only used to one kind. So I got nervous when you said that. So
It's nothing to get nervous about. I'm incapable of going into details. You're accustomed to a Christian funeral home, but this is a Muslim funeral home. And if you'd like to get more information about it, we didn't think it was a major problem because it was actually downzoning the property from something that could be extremely offensive and impacted to a lesser use, a great depreciation down to C2. I think it is, but we could get more information for you if you want it.
if you don't mind, yeah, I would just, for my own personal, I just like to see that myself.
Well, let's move to postpone then.
That would be fine. I'll get the information for you and present it to you. This was the one I was not prepared to go into great details about.
Yeah, let's move to postpone.
Well,
I support
Mr. Chairman,
you on that.
of course, I'll support Councilman Butcher on postponement as well. But I certainly hope after 2 weeks, we approve a downzoning request to accommodate a Muslim funeral home. Everybody has to bury their dead.
Right. No, I agree
And I know that's our
100%.
intention.
I agree 100%.
Okay.
I'm just concerned, just want to know exactly, what's
That's a good question, Jerry. It's very good question.
I agree 100%. I think we'll all be on board at that time. I mean, I'm thinking we're on board now. I just want to.
My concern is is it hours? Is it,
That's
there
right.
could be all kinds of things that could impact the people that live right behind it. Not to say that them going and putting a rock crusher or something there wouldn't impact them, but I would just like to know before I give a
That's
thumbs up on it. And I appreciate that, Councilman Bowman.
Okay, thank you.
Good question. Motion to postpone.
Motion by council. Second.
Second, any discussion? Then let's call the vote for postponement.
Councilwoman Taylor,
Aye.
Councilwoman Fuller,
Aye.
Councilman Nicholson,
All right.
Councilman Butcher,
Aye.
Councilman Flory,
Aye.
Councilman Green,
Aye.
and Councilman Bowman.
Aye.
Okay, let's go to table legislation. Is there any table legislation to be removed today?
None that I'm aware of.
But there's a question, and I just, there's something on there, and I just want to know if, I think Councilman Nicholson I was on with that, with him, and maybe we should think about removing or go ahead and going forward with one of the other on that salary increase. So that's just a thought, and maybe we'll bring it back up next time or whatever, but it's been on.
Yeah, Councilman Bowman, since Councilman Bowman has raised the issue, I'll address it briefly as well. I continue to believe that, particularly with respect to the mayor's salary, that it is ridiculous that a city of the size of Shreveport, 190,000 if we're lucky at the next census, which requires 7 days a week of long days from its mayor, pays the mayor $95,000 a year. And that would be my opinion, no matter who the mayor is. I think that it sends the wrong message to the public about how important that critical role is. And as you know, as I joked with my friend Jerry Bowman today when we were discussing this, I don't think that the mayor of Shreveport should be eating steak dinners every day, but I don't think they should have to eat a Whataburger every day either. I mean, the mayor runs an organization with thousands of employees. He is the final word because the people selected him to be concerning the expenditure of literally billions of dollars over the course of a 4-year term. And if we raise the mayor's salary to $125,000, it's still going to be substantially lower than many city employees. So I just don't understand what objective or principled reason we would have not to make that move. So anytime this council is ready to vote to increase the salary of the mayor effective after the next election, after the people have had an opportunity to decide who they want to be mayor next, I'm ready to do that. And I know that Councilman Bowman feels the same way. Thank you.
All right, thank you. I did want to address, Chairman, I'm sorry. I did want to address that we've had Miss Amanda on for a short period of time now. I didn't see her on earlier, but it was pertaining to an ABO card.
Jerry? Jerry?
Uh-huh.
James Graves sent a text or something about that he had been left out.
Okay. So I still didn't see him up here.
I don't either.
I'm fine with if you all are with letting Miss Amanda Smith speak first, and then we can see if Mr. Graves is on, if that's okay with everyone else.
Oh, that's good. That's good, Jerry.
Okay.
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
Mr. Chair?
Yeah.
Would it be in order for us to suspend the rules since we are in another portion of the agenda for that to take place?
Actually, she's our ABO appeal that we have today. Yeah, that's coming up next on the agenda. But if Mr. Graves has hopped back on, we would need to suspend the rules for him to speak.
I was talking about for Mr. Gray to suspend the rules so that he could speak.
Right, for Mr.
I'd like
Gray,
to,
right.
I'd like to offer motion to suspend the rule at this time that Mr. Gray would speak.
If we could reach out, I don't see him. I'm seeing emails. They're sending me here, but I don't know where he's at.
He's not. He's not.
Okay. Well,
Okay.
we tried.
Mr. Chairman, may I, on the ABO appeal, may I just direct a couple of questions to the city attorney? And I just want to make sure that I understand what we are doing when we consider these appeals. First, I understand.
Before you begin, Councilman Nicholson, we need to make sure that Officer Bradley is on the feed. Okay. You can proceed, Councilman Nicholson. Apologize.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Latier. My first question is that I understand that so long as the applicant's appeal is pending, she retains her ABO card and she can keep working. That's right? That's what the correspondence we have says.
That's what we have. Yes, sir.
Okay, so
I'm not sure. I'm not sure if her having an ABO card has any reflection of whether or not she can keep working, though. I'm not sure if that's actually a part of her entire job, and I think that's why she's here to. You understand what I'm saying?
Look, this, yes, sir. I mean, I understand that the restaurant she works at may allow her to continue to work even if she can't serve alcohol. I appreciate that. But
yes.
This is my question about, and we've had one other of these, and they may come up in the future. But the ordinance that we're proceeding under says that if a person has been convicted of a felony, they're not eligible to hold an ABO card until they complete their sentence, including probation. That's what it says. Correct. And so there is an appeal process. They can appeal the decision of the police chief, but I don't understand the appeal process to allow us to disregard the requirements of the ordinance. And I don't, this has nothing to do with the particular applicant before us, but we're really sort of functioning in a quasi-judicial role when we consider these appeals. And if we have an ordinance that says you may not have an ABO card while you are on felony probation, I just don't see how we can grant an ABO card to someone who is on felony probation. And that's not got nothing to do with whether we should if there were no ordinance. So is that right, Mr. Latier? Is what I'm saying correct?
That's how I read it, and I'm sure that Corporal Glass Bradley will agree with that.
Okay, so this is what I suggest in light of the conversation that Mr. Latier and I are having. Let's postpone this. That will allow Ms. Smith to keep her ABO card while we continue to talk about it. But I want us to be consistent in the way that we deal with these, and I don't want to have a situation where the council just decides on an ad hoc basis whether or not somebody who does not qualify under 1066 gets to keep their ABO card. So if we postpone it today, she keeps her ABO card for another couple of weeks, and we can talk through it privately. And I guess that's my preference. Because I don't want her to not. All right, second.
Motion by Councilman Green to give this lady a extension and to give her a second chance, and second by Councilman Nicholson.
Is the motion to postpone? That's my
motion to postpone. Yes, sir.
Motion to postpone.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Motion
Thank
to postpone.
But I did have discussion though.
Yeah, I'm coming to it right now. And second by Councilman, now discussion.
Okay. I did want to make sure that, I know and I agree with Councilman Nicholson 100%, and I want Corporal Bradley to speak also, but I did want to make sure that, in light of, and I hate to keep bringing this up, but in light of a situation where we have people who don't work or can't work, don't want to go to work during this particular time, I don't want to hold nobody back from going to work either. And have that on me, because I would want to, at this particular time, we short, at my employment too, of people not going to work, don't want to go to work or whatever, but you have a young lady who does want to go to work. And if there's something we can do to assist in, especially at this time here, and I like to do that. But if I just want to go say that on the record. And also, I wanted to hear from Corporal Bradley also. I'm sorry. Thank you.
I agree with Councilman Bowman. Yeah, I think we should hear from Corporal Bradley.
Normally how the process goes is we issue a temporary card while we're conducting a background check. And while we're doing this background check, that's when we'll find their latch and their history of if they're eligible to meet the requirements. Because when they come into the office, it's not ready available. We have to send the fingerprints through state and come back to, that's why we issue a temporary. So during this process, we'll send a letter out notifying that, hey, we got your background check and you're not eligible to hold an ABO card because you're either on, we have a questionnaire on the application to let us know that like, hey, if you are on probation or felony parole, you cannot get an ABO card. And you circle it yes or no. So we'll try to let you know up front that you won't be eligible for a ABO card.
Hey, Corporal, is that a function of state law as well as local law? Does state law allow a felon on probation to hold an ABO card? Or do you know?
The state law prohibits local municipalities from issuing site specific. So if they don't meet the requirements for our ordinance or the state law, that the state doesn't have ABO cards is what I'm trying to say. But
okay, all right,
it's more of a they don't meet the requirements from the city.
Oh, this is our ordinance, correct?
Yeah.
It looks like Miss Smith is on. Is that you, Miss Smith?
Yes, sir.
Do you have any information from your probation officer that you could provide
Yes.
to the county?
Yes, sir, I sure do. I have checked with my probation officer and I have met all my requirements thus far. And I was getting a renewal of an ABO card. I've been with Olive Garden and the Darden Company since 2016. And I'm currently, my probation officer helped me to have this removed from my record. I'm in drug court, so I can have this expunged. And I'm currently, I'm halfway through doing that, so I can have this expunged from my record. And I received I have a letter of recommendation or consideration from Judge Marcotte on my behalf because I am following my guidelines. I've never been in trouble with like selling alcohol to a minor, not carding somebody, any infractions on that port. And so I was just hoping to have my renewal.
Do you have the letter with you?
We have a copy. We have a copy of that letter that was sent out.
And can you read what it says from Judge Marcotte? I think that might be helpful.
Okay.
Me or?
I'm trying to find
whomever has it available. I don't have it.
Okay, I'm sorry. All right.
Ms. Smith,
This letter is written in regards to Amanda Jo Smith, who is in my adult drug court program. Ms. Smith has performed very well in the program. She appears to have a strong motivation to better herself, has strong morals, and a strong work ethic. Please let this letter serve as a recommendation for Amanda Jo Smith to receive her ABO card.
And it's
if you have any questions or comments, please contact very truly yours, Judge Craig O. Marcotte.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Make sure that record, and I think that Councilman Nicholson had a motion on the floor, and
yes,
I would, and y'all consider his recommendation.
Okay. I think it was motion to postpone by Councilman Nicholson.
Can I ask one question?
Yes.
How far along are you with your expungement? Do you know where you are in the process?
Yes, well, in the process, I cannot technically file until February 3rd of 2022. So I just have a few months for me that I'm done with. And then when I'm completed the program and that is the thing also is I wasn't court ordered to do this drug court. I'm finishing this drug court, so I chose to do this. So I will continue to do it even after I'm off probation. So, and a lot of people just quit the drug because I could get out of drug court when I'm done with probation, but I'm going to continue my program.
Okay.
I'll just conclude my remarks and re-urge my motion to postpone. Right now, today, we have an ordinance in place that says if you are on felony probation, you may not have an ABO card. It doesn't have any exceptions. And I want to be fair to everybody that comes to us. And so Ms. Smith, although it sounds like she's making great progress, and I'm proud of that and pleased to meet her in this setting, she is on felony probation. So under the language of the ordinance, she's not eligible. Perhaps what we need to do is reconsider the qualifications that we require for people to hold ABO cards. For example, we might consider including an exception for people on felony probation if they have a recommendation from their probation officer, or if they have a recommendation from the presiding judge, as has been provided here. I would want to get the police department's input on that before we move forward with changing that ordinance. But we can't just ignore an ordinance that we have on the books, even if the applicant is worthy and very sympathetic. So I say let's postpone it and talk about it and see if we can come up with a global solution to what sounds like is a problem for a number of people who work in the hospitality industry.
Like to work with you on that, John.
Yeah. Thank you. I'm happy to work with you on that.
Okay, let's call for the vote.
So it's to postpone, correct?
Yes. To postpone.
Councilwoman Taylor,
Aye.
Councilwoman Fuller,
Aye.
Councilman Nicholson,
Aye.
Councilman Butcher,
Aye.
Councilman Flory,
Aye.
Councilman Green,
Aye.
and Councilman Bowman.
Aye. Now, I also want to, during this discussion, I want to get some clarification from Corporal Bradley. During this next 2-week period, if we can just get together and speak on your experiences of any of this in the past or anything like that too, if you all don't mind. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
All right. We have no property standards appeals. Madam Clerk, is there any appeals, other appeals?
There are none, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, any report from officers, boards, or committees? Is there a clerk's report?
There a public, wait a
There is,
minute.
Mr. Chairman.
I'm sorry, is there a public safety meeting coming up or no, Councilman Butcher? No?
Well, I mean, I'd like to. I think that the biggest issue we were having were the fire and police vehicles. We've got that covered.
Okay.
There are some requests from people that I've heard about some airport issues, generators and things like that. I'll be happy to call it. We could actually discuss this. We could actually discuss the parking issues that we're having at the Public Safety Committee meeting. So I would prefer us to do it maybe a Tuesday before a meeting, and that'll give us time to get that together if that's something that y'all would like.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
All right, Mayor Perkins, do you have any additional comments?
I don't have anything, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, any council member?
Is Gary Norman here?
Danielle had something, I'm sorry.
Okay, Danielle.
I have a clerk's report. And before I start with that, Mr. Chairman, I know they were checking to see if Mr. Graves has gotten back in the waiting room, and he is not. I do have a PDF of his comments if you guys would like to suspend the rules to read that. If not, I can continue with the clerk's report.
No, I think we need to suspend the rules and put it into let you read it. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second. Yeah.
Okay. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? All right, ayes have it. Okay, Danielle.
His comment is, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the over 100 members of the Shreveport Airport's Hangars Owners Association, we thank you for the opportunity to address you here today in the People's Chambers. Our members have been alarmed by the recent major security breach at Shreveport Regional Airport on July 24th, 2021, and various other security incidents at both airports. We have also, with you, been watching the jet bridge difficulties unfold and have similar concerns about emergency generators and associated equipment. We have prepared to appear as a group at this meeting today, but the Interim Director of Airports, Ms. Stephanie Tucker, has agreed to meet with our leadership representatives tomorrow to address our concerns. We are willing to do everything we can to assure that the citizens of the city enjoy aviation operations at the airports that are safe, secure, maintained, and protected. We look forward to working with Ms. Tucker to make sure that our current operational safety and security concerns are satisfactorily addressed. We hope to see you, our elected representatives, again soon when circumstances allow us to gather again face to face. Thank you, Jim Graves, President of the Shreveport Airports Hangar Association.
Okay, place that in the
And then-
minutes.
Mr. Chair.
Yes.
Mr. Chair, I would appreciate, Mr. Mayor, if you would get the information to the folk at the airport in my district that whenever something is going on at the airport, I would appreciate if they would give me the honor as to being aware of it, so that I won't have to find out information on the street. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay.
Really quick, Councilman. I think the reason why this case is an exception, we share information here, I think is because our city attorney advised us not to in a particular case. So if Attorney Latier could jump in and clarify that.
No, what I'm saying, they don't let me know nothing.
Oh, okay.
Period.
All right. Well, outside, yes, I promise
Period.
you we will
Zero,
put in
period.
protocols to make sure that anything going on at the airport, you're at the regional, you're aware, and downtown, you're aware, Councilwoman.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much what the email that was sent this morning is, not the confidential stuff that you guys have to talk to about in legal, just the general.
Okay. Yep. We'll get on that.
They had a security breach or something, didn't it, James?
Well, the guy down the street told me they did.
Oh, okay. All right. Anything
Hey,
else?
Councilman, he didn't live down the street from you, did he?
Mr. Chair, I have a. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
You have what?
Mr. Norman,
Yes, ma'am.
can you give us an update on where we are with the bulk pickups? Thank you all for what you all have done thus far. And I know that we're going neighborhood by neighborhood. I've pretty much rolled part of my district, and I have another listing to send of those bulk pickups, but can you just tell me how the operation is going right now?
Yes, ma'am. Actually have had been very fortunate to get a lot of participation from other departments within the city. We've had the water and sewer department, streets and drainage, solid waste, property standards have all pitched in and helped. We've worked bulk the last 2 weekends, both Saturdays and Sundays. I think 2 weeks ago we had 30 people out working it, and then this last week we had an additional 26 that were out working, and on Sunday we had a smaller group, probably 8 to 10 that worked on those 2 days. We've actually run kind of a sweep type operation in Anderson Island, Highland, South Broadmoor, North Highland, Cherokee Park, Cooper Road, Country Club, Queensboro, Stoner Hill, and we're going to be in Cedar Grove and in District F also this coming weekend. With furthering the operations until we get it all swept. I have been in contact with our purchasing department and also legal to try to come up with some solutions to try to find a quick way to get some contractors engaged. And I think we've come up with some things today that will hopefully help us do that, and we can try to get something in place with them. So we would love to move forward with that as quickly as we can.
I appreciate that, and thank you to Water and Sewerage and Property Standards for coming in and assisting Public Works, so we can get back on schedule that will assist the department of looking at these bulk pickups. And I do think, again, I know Councilman Bowman and Nicholson, that we talked about this particular legislation, especially when it comes to bulk pickups, but also to and exploring that legislation with landlords and these evictions of putting its contents out on the street and them having to go and pick it up at our cost and not theirs. So I want to continue to move on that legislation.
Councilman Green,
Councilman
Councilman
included
Green.
on that, since we've been talking about that when we were first on property standards together, Councilman Bowman. So I'd love to be included in that conversation.
I agree.
Councilman Green,
Yes, sir.
would you see, would you go ahead?
Well, one is I'd just like to publicly thank Mr. Whitehorn for the request that I made, and he took care of it in a very timely manner. I just want to say thank you. And also, Councilman Bowman, I have a note for you. I just need to know where you're going to be so I can get it to you. It's one of my normal notes I give you.
I'll make sure to come pick it up, but I got one for you too.
Y'all wanna bring them to me and I'll pass them like I do at the regular meeting?
Councilman Butcher, meet them out there on the Cross Lake extension.
We can go meet on this oil rig pad right up the street.
Meet on the Cross Lake extension where he's laying out on.
Exactly.
Councilman Butcher, I'll get it to you and you get it to Jerry for me. Thank you.
I'll do that. I'll run by there. I'll run by the church tomorrow.
Okay. Anything else?
Councilman Fleury, you was about to ask me a question.
Yeah, 2 times I wanted to ask. Can you help
Yes.
me can you see if you could help me next week get my ditches cut?
Well, you know what? I talked to the mayor about that today, and he gave me the word that he was going to see to it that it's taken care of. We had a long
Gotcha, Mr.
conversation.
Chairman.
Well, the last time they went out there in your district, they flipped the piece of equipment, and so I'm just saying.
That equipment was about to fall off the deal anyway. That tracked the boat. They didn't have no boat. But I talked to the mayor, Councilman Fleury, today about it, and he's
All
going
right.
to help us out.
Good.
Yes, sir.
Good deal. And anything else? Then this meeting is adjourned.